All
Um,
right. So you want to go back to Facebook and
yeah,
then
because because now if we get 25 minutes, we get two small parts, and then we got this one, so we can actually do it in
perfect. Yeah. No,
three
let's
sections. It
go.
just kind of
I've
keeps it
got it.
concise. Okay, so I did want to mention before we go into everything regarding Facebook, Libra coin, and the Senate hearing specifically, I got to give a shout out to Representative Patrick McHenry from the state of North Carolina. North Carolina's in the House. I'm in North Carolina, and this man is said, and there's three different quotes. There's no capacity to kill Bitcoin. My point is, you can't kill Bitcoin. And the essence of Bitcoin is what Libra, Facebook, and corporates are trying to mimic. So shout out to that dude. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said that he likes decentralization, the decentralized nature and security of Bitcoin. So shout out to them. Warren Davidson and his shitcoin. Just had to give shout outs to those, man, because when we have pro-positive politicians, even as an anarchist, I still have to recognize the fact that they're still for cryptocurrencies.
Absolutely. I mean, like it gets to the point where like Bitcoin is just too big to stop. And I mean, yes, there's really, really, really steep slopes that they would have to go if they really wanted to stop it in the world and get rid of Bitcoin. But why would they? It's a technology that can make things easier and better, more efficient. So I don't understand why they would do that in the first place. And you're talking about the amount of pentahashes that there are, the amount of people that mine, the amount of users that it has. It would just cause like cypherpunk hysteria. If you guys ever watched the movie or the TV show Mr. Robot, and they have all the cypherpunk come on after it resets everything, that's a really good example of like what would probably happen if they tried to get rid of Bitcoin. You'd have mass hack attacks against all the government systems and organizations, and you would see things start to shut. I believe that. Now, that's not conspiracy. I believe that's what would happen because cypherpunks have serious power. And people don't know who they are. They wear the mask, and you don't know who they are. But in that show, it kind of shows what would happen if there was some type of catastrophic U.S. meltdown, and how like basically the people would take over. And I think that that's something very realistic to happen if they try to do this with Bitcoin, especially in countries like the U.S., and Canada, UK, and in India. I think they're also going to stand up and say we're not okay with it either. So it comes down to the fact that we can't stop something this big. And Facebook is just coming in and going, well, we could benefit from this. And let's get all the biggest companies in the world that do things like with transactions like PayPal and MasterCard and Visa, etc. And let's get them involved, and we'll call it decentralized. But really, we're just a cabal of like the richest of the rich. And, and this is what they're saying. They're saying you guys are like, a brief synopsis of what I've seen is they don't trust Facebook. They don't trust that they're going to keep the information safe. They don't trust that they say it's trustless. They don't trust that it's going to be decentralized, and rightfully so. Who would?
No, there's definitely a cold reception from the U.S. Senate when it comes to Libra. AOCC said that Libra is controlled by largely massive corporations that were discussed, and she's saying this to the rest of the people in the hearing, that we're discussing a currency controlled by an undemocratized selected coalition of largely massive corporations. And that's the thing that people aren't putting in perspective. So, I mean, I think it's kind of cool that, like we said, we got those pro-politicians, those pro-Bitcoin politicians. But even though that these hearings are going on, this is making Bitcoin, in my opinion, look good because of the negative talk that they're giving to Libra. And their centralized nature when they're saying it's decentralized, which gives a good promotion for decentralization, true decentralization.
And I think there's legitimate concern over what Facebook is doing, and it's different. So just because they've got a blockchain doesn't mean that, okay, it's like another Bitcoin, because it's nothing close. It's like Bank of America launching their own coin. You know, anyways, I think the concern, keep this in mind, 70% of the GDP comes from people using the dollar. If Facebook is successful, and they got 2 billion people, so it's a numbers game, they could do some serious harm to the United States, to the dollar, to our country. And if they're not regulated, and I think they're trying to. Somebody told me that they were trying to do this out of I guess Switzerland, or is that true? Or
That's what they're saying, but also they're saying, I've heard things that people in Switzerland that has to do with the banking regulations and control are saying they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I don't know what's true.
But it makes sense that they would do this outside the United States because they're up against Goliath with what they're trying to do. But I don't think they're up to any good. You know, I believe we're about to witness a currency war go down in this country. You know, I strongly believe that the US dollar as a fiat currency is right at the tail end of its cycle. If you go throughout our history, every 40 to 50 years, our country goes through a major currency change. And that's the same thing globally. But when it's a fiat currency, fiat has a lifespan. The average lifespan is 27 years. We're at, 48 years right now. Mm-hmm. We're at the very tail end. And 10, 11 years ago, they had to give it CPR just to squeeze a little bit more time out. But something major is going to happen on the scale of what happened in 1913 in this country. I do believe we're going to move back towards a sound currency backed by gold. I strongly believe that. I think that's going to happen within 2 years, by 2021. But I think the real battle is behind the scenes, who's going to maintain control over the most dominant currency in the world. And Facebook trying to come in with their own currency, I believe is considered a threat. And that's why they're pushing back.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I was reading last night before I went to bed that the IMF chief economist, I can't remember the person's name, has basically urged the Global Regulatory Committee to pay serious attention to Facebook's cryptocurrency project during the early stages of its development so that they can make sure that they aren't too late in taking measures of controlling it. And I know there's a lot of pressure right now from the United States wanting them to halt development. So I guess we got about a good roughly 10, 15 more minutes. What do you think about, Joel, you watched this more in detail. I haven't watched everything that was put out. Are you hearing more about them wanting them to halt development and just stop for the moment until there's more clarification?
Yeah, it seems like they kind of want to oversee what they're already doing and how far they've come along and why they're doing it, and really kind of oversee with regulatory insights of like, how are they doing this? The thing I also really think it's funny is, imagine this happening for Bitcoin. It can't. Everyone's like, who's a Satoshi Nakamoto person? It's not Craig Wright, and we don't know who it really is or who they are, but who the hell are you going to send this letter to? Who are you going to bring into a hearing to grill? You don't have anyone to do it. And this is the power of Bitcoin that people always miss. The power is because no one knows who it is, makes it super decentralized, makes it what it's supposed to be. The fact that Mark Zuckerberg is like, I'm going to make this cryptocurrency called Libra, that's why they can go and be like, hell no, you're not going to do it. And did you guys see the bill that they just drafted? How they're saying like no technology companies can actually create a currency ever again?
Yeah, they're being really what I will say too about that is they were very selective about the words they used because words are very important in law, and they basically covered a very large ground with the verbiage they used.
They did. And so like you look at that, Rob, what do you think? Like they come up with this bill, they really have a strong scrutiny against them, just step after step after step. So what's next? What do you think they're going to come out with, and what are they going to say or do in the government? Because I know you're really attached to the U.S. government. What do you think they're going to actually do next now?
Well, I think the real concern, and it is a concern, is the centralized control over a cryptocurrency or any currency. And right now, there is a centralized control over the current monetary system that we've been using for over the last 100+ years. And I believe, again, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I believe we're about to see a shift. But during this transition period, we've got Facebook, which I believe, obviously we can't trust Facebook. I'll just leave it at that. I don't trust Facebook. I don't trust how it was created to begin with. I think there's a lot of questions. I know DARPA created LifeLog, and on February 4th, Wired Magazine wrote that, oh, DARPA is scrapping their LifeLog project.
I got his LifeBug.
Yeah, on the exact same day, February 4th, 2004, Facebook launches. Wow, what a coincidence. And DARPA, you know, I believe is I'll just put it out there, is pulling a lot of the strings behind what we're doing on Facebook. And as a result, that currency, that centralized control, I think the same shady people that are behind the Federal Reserve System are more than likely pulling the strings behind this Libra project to maintain some power and control. And it's smart. 2 billion people, if they are successful, and I don't think they will be, but if they are, it'd be one way to come out on top. But I don't think they're going to succeed. And I believe this pushback we're seeing is a good thing. And it's not an attack directly on Bitcoin. Even though I realize our president tweeted and basically said it wasn't a real currency. It's not stable. And so I'll certainly agree with that. But I don't think Bitcoin's ever going to be a threat because it's decentralized. There's not a centralized power of control over it.
If you really think about, though, like the last 7 days, since I think it was Thursday that Trump tweeted out, which would be a week ago today, we've never had a president mention cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin ever before. So that's already a milestone in and of itself. And then with all these different hearings and with the recent little bull run that we've had, I mean, there's so much positive sentiment going on overall for Bitcoin for long term. We're not talking about price right now, but long term, this is some of the best stuff we've had ever happen in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So, I mean, we're at historical points when the president, you know, is tweeting about Bitcoin. So regardless of, because not a lot of people like Trump, and even people who do like Trump dismiss a lot of what he say. So because he's just, he doesn't seem to be well-rounded with his education and his thought process.
I think the future of the United States dollar, there will be a form of it that will be on its own blockchain. I think that's going to happen with every currency around the world, just because when you look at it, it makes a lot more sense than what we're currently using. You know, if you want to send a wire transfer, you got to get out of bed, you got to get dressed, shower, get in the car. Meanwhile, we could just pull out our phone and send Bitcoin to each other instantly. But we do need, there certainly is a need for a strong, stable currency, ideally backed by gold, that is government issued. And I have no doubt there'll be a form of it on the blockchain. We still need paper currency, though. There's no way we're going to get, you know, our grandmothers or grandfather, you know, to use the blockchain technology, to use a smartphone. So I still think there's a demand for paper, but it'll be a hybrid.
Yeah, because there's still people that use checkbooks in today's day and age. So, I mean, yeah, until those people, unfortunately, that whole generation dies out and we get to that point. I mean, I do see the government's talking about wanting a cashless society, and with countries like Venezuela under Petro, and India and the digital rupee, and even with Russia talking about digitizing their fiat currency, I definitely see us digitizing currencies. I think digital currency is the next evolution, and cryptocurrency is obviously part of that. But I definitely want people to realize there's a difference between the two. And because of the way that Facebook is talking about their project, I compare it more to something like Ripple and Ripple's the XRP blockchain. And in my opinion, that is, even though it's a blockchain, it's not a cryptocurrency. It's just a digital currency. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's not a cryptocurrency. I've been saying that for a while. I don't think that the Libra can be considered a cryptocurrency, because it's just, I don't know, like, are stablecoins cryptocurrencies? You know, like, that's another good question to actually say, like, is a stablecoin a cryptocurrency? or is it just a digital asset and it's one that we use that can peg to something else? Is pegging, you know, is that something that makes it a currency or not? Like it's really kind of one of those things that confuses me a little bit, to be honest, because
money can be confusing. Currency can be confusing in general.
But Tether, like, okay, I go to my Tether bank and I mint 500 million. Oh, what about this? I mint 5 billion Tether by accident. Oops. You guys saw that one. That was interesting.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oops.
Sorry about
Just
that.
put a couple extra zeros. Oopsie.
The key is going to be diversification, and but there is a difference, and it's going to be on us to help educate people. You know, Libra might call itself a cryptocurrency, but there's a huge difference from what they're doing versus what Bitcoin, Litecoin, and all these other actual cryptocurrencies are. You know, that we can mine. Yeah, you know, Facebook's not letting us mine their coin, and I guess you got to have what, $10 million to be, I guess, have a master node, right?
Yeah.
So it's not truly decentralized.
Not at all. Yeah, I think we had a really good talk. I like the subjects that we covered. I guess if anybody doesn't have anything to include on what we were talking about, are we ready to wrap up individually and then sign off?
Yeah. I think this was a good talk.
So Joel, you want to say your deal and talk about, you know, who you are, you know, quite quickly, and how people can find you and your YouTube channel. And again, we'll have links down below and in the descriptions for all this, so you can check us out individually.
Definitely. Yes. Check out Rob and Chris. I'm known as Coach K Crypto. So you can find me on Telegram or on Twitter. Just look up Coach K Crypto. People know me as Coach K because I'm a former educator of 8 years. I came into crypto to educate people. And so I teach people about everything from just regular blockchain technology, which my course will be out in a week. And I'm also creating a course for trading. So lots of education focused. I've worked with several companies some of them are on Binance Dex. One of them might be on Binance next week. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'm really excited to, you know, get involved more in the space as much as possible. It's kind of my passion and something that I live and breathe every single day. And I feel like so does Rob and Chris. So we all kind of live, breathe, and die crypto, and we love it. And we, you know, we'll hear Bitcoin's dead before again, I'm sure, and we don't really care. And so if you want to find me, go to athenaproject.trade, go on to Twitter and on Facebook. You can find me at Athena VIP. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there. And you know, ask me any questions. I'm pretty approachable and someone who usually gives people time even when I don't have it. So yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And yeah, and everybody that wants to find me, I have my own personal website, robharris.net. And I've got some free videos on there. If you don't know how to use Coinbase, I've got a tutorial on that. I also have a video on Exodus, how to set up and use that wallet. I've also been making a lot of PowerPoint style educational videos for a company exclusively. I just uploaded 4 videos yesterday. I got one more video I got to do the audio for, which explains all the different type of wallets that are out there for crypto that you can store your cryptocurrency in. So I've been busy, but my main focus is on education, and my main target is those that are just starting out. So, you know, you might be educated, but if you've got a friend or, you know, even your parents or grandmother that's trying to learn this stuff, those are the people I'm trying to help and work with.
Sweet. And I definitely encourage everybody to check out Joel's, Rob's, mine, all of our different social media and YouTube channels. I'm Chris Rice Crypto. I am an anarchist. I am a voluntarist. I encourage people to be the change that they want to see in this world. With my YouTube channel, I do everything from interviews to tutorials to just kind of voicing my own opinion on some things to giving common sense investment tips. So I encourage people to check out. I've done some really cool interviews recently. Got a chance to interview John McAfee for the 3rd time. Talked to Max Kaiser, which that kind of I have a reschedule because we had a technical difficulty, which was an unfinished interview. That's up on Minds and DTube. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Rice Crypto. My YouTube channel is Rice Crypto, so just, you know, search for Rice Crypto, check out my content. You know, I got Next week, I think we're going to be interviewing Richard Hart possibly on Monday. I'm doing Lynette Zhang with ITM Trading on Tuesday. Amir Razik from Block Geeks on Wednesday. Block Geeks is a educational company. It's formed by Amir Razik and Dmitry Buterin, and Dmitry Buterin is Vitalik's dad. And I believe, hopefully, if everything goes well, Thursday I should be interviewing Fluffy Pony. I've had to reschedule with him a couple times because he's in South Africa and has had some issues. But I've got a lot of really cool interviews and content coming up, so I encourage people to check that out too.
Nice.
So as always, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Crypto Amigos. We appreciate you checking out our podcast, our discussion today. I hope you enjoyed it and found value. We encourage you to check out all of our different individual social media accounts and channels. And I encourage everybody personally to be the change that they want to see in this world. And I say do that by practicing change. What about you guys? Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. Just go and join all of our YouTube channels. Subscribe, share the videos if you like them. If you like the podcast, share that too and tell people about it. And, give us some input. We want to hear from you guys. We don't get any money for doing this stuff. We're doing it so that we can spread the love of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies to everyone.
Because we love you.
Yeah, we do. We love y'all. And just remember that we're here for you guys. So if you need stuff or you want stuff, we all have really good connections in the industry to interview certain projects. I'll be, like Chris said, he's going to be interviewing Max and Fluffy Pony, and I'll be interviewing a couple projects soon. I interviewed Matic recently. I'll be interviewing Ferrum, which is a new ICO that's coming out. And I'm going to be potentially also interviewing Ampleforth. So lots of really good stuff's going to be coming from us. So do let us know. Athena Education on YouTube. Chris Rice Crypto, Rob Harris. Don't loaf on that.
Deuces.
Peace.
See ya.